Think about this. If you're on a weight loss journey, you only have to lose the weight one time. Now, I know that's like a mind-blowing concept for many, many women because we've been on this cycle of diet after diet after diet where we lose a few pounds and then we gain it back and then we lose a few more and then we gain it back and we gain even a little bit more. So we're on this perpetual weight loss hamster wheel that never seems to end. And being in weight loss mode and, being on diets has just become like part of who we are. But I'm here to tell you it does not have to be that way. And today I want to share with you some strategies for how to create lasting change in your weight loss journey so that your story can have a different ending this time, right? Let's create the weight loss story where we lose the weight once and then we keep it off. And so I've got a couple points for you today that I want to share that are things that I really learned through my weight loss journey and my weight loss story. In fact, I'm going to say my weight loss journeys, plural, because if you're new here, welcome. What you might not know is that I lost 85 pounds after pregnancy, which is a lot of weight to have gained during pregnancy. Then I got pregnant again and gained 65 pounds in the next one and just finished losing that. So I've been through the weight loss journey thing, right? It didn't happen quickly for me, but through the journey of losing weight both times, these concepts that I'm going to share were really, really reinforced, especially the second time, because they kind of hit home for me the first time I was losing weight with that 85 pounds, and then they really sunk in while I was doing it the second time after the 65 pounds. So I'm going to share with you these simple things that really make a huge difference when we talk about creating lasting change in our weight loss story. So some of these things are more about how we think. Some of them are more about what we're actually doing, like the foods that we're eating and things like that. So I hope that this information is really going to tie it all together for you so that you can take it and go make lasting change in your weight loss journey so that you can lose the weight and not have to gain it back and not have to do it again and not have to live in perpetual fad diet culture anymore. Let's be done with that. So if you're new here, welcome to this channel. Really, Ruth and I, my mom Ruth is not here today. It's just me, obviously. But really, this channel is committed to helping you reclaim your weight, your health, and your life so that you can go out and live the purpose that God has for you. Because as believers, we've got to stop living defeated by the scale and by our weight, and it's time for us to reclaim who God has created us to be so that we can go out and be light to this world. So if you're new, if you have not subscribed before, please hit that subscribe button for us and click that bell notification so that you get notified when our new videos come out because we want this message to get out there. So thank you for your help with that. Okay, let's get started right away. How do we create lasting change in our weight loss journeys? Well, I'm going to say that the first thing is really about shifting our perspective from, I have to lose weight, I have to go on a diet, to this. Start focusing on your health. Start focusing on treating your body like a temple. If you've been here before, you'll know we often say treat your body like a temple, not a trash can. And while that might seem like a very slight distinction going from another diet to start to focus on your health, there's a big difference. But what does that actually mean? Well, I want to break it down for you a little bit. It means that food is fuel for our bodies, right? That's the function of food. The function of food is to give our bodies energy so that we can do the things that God has called us to do, right? Yes, we want to enjoy food. It's great that we enjoy it. And all of the other things that food is and does in our culture, some of them are a little bit mixed up. We've got lots of other videos about that. But really, if you think about food being fuel for your body, well, we always like the analogy of a car, right? And we put fuel into our cars, like gasoline, so that our cars run. Well, our bodies are like that, and food is our fuel. But there's different grades of fuel, right? And your body, just like my body, is like a luxury vehicle. Our bodies need that high octane, that high grade, healthy fuel in order to function well, right? They need the good, healthy foods that God created for us to enjoy. And if you think about fueling up your car, you put the right amount of fuel in the tank, right? You don't overflow it so that the fuel comes spilling out. You also don't let it run on empty because then you're not getting where you're not going to get where you're trying to go. So we've got to start looking at fuel for our bodies, food, the same way. We want the right amount of food. We don't need to overstuff our bodies. That's wasteful. Not only that, it's actually, we're told not to do that in the Bible. That's gluttony. And we need the good fuel, right? We don't want to put the wrong kinds of fuel in our bodies. We don't want to put diesel in a gasoline engine. It's going to blow up. Well, I'm here to tell you all that processed junk that we are consuming in the world today, that's like putting the wrong kind of fuel in your body. Now, I'm not saying you're never going to eat processed junk food again. I'm not saying you're never going to go through a drive-thru in your lifetime again. And here's the concept to understand here, right? One unhealthy meal doesn't make you unhealthy, and one healthy meal doesn't make you healthy. It's what we do consistently over time that matters. But if you think about that shift in the way you think to focusing on your health and focusing on treating your body like a temple, well, if your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, you wouldn't be stuffing it full of the wrong kind of fuel all day long if that's how you start to look at your body, right? You wouldn't continue to put the wrong kind, you wouldn't continue to put diesel in a gasoline engine. You would start to look for the gasoline, and you'd start to look for the better forms of gasoline, all in the name of focusing on your health, because we want to honor God with our bodies. We want to honor God with all of the things that we choose to put into our mouths. The other thing that we really want to focus on here is moderation. And the Bible talks about moderation and self-control. And in fact, one of my favorite verses about food is Proverbs 25:16 that says, "Do you like honey? If so, don't eat too much or it will make you sick." Okay, and I feel like that verse speaks so profoundly to this concept of like fueling our bodies and of like using self-control and moderation, right? Honey is, we all know it's sweet. It's a sugar. It's a type of sugar. It turns to sugar in our bodies. And so don't eat too much or it will make you sick. Okay, it doesn't say don't eat it. It doesn't say never have honey again. It says don't eat too much or it will make you sick. And I always like to kind of interpret that as like it'll make you sick in the moment, because some versions even say it will make you vomit. But it's also going to make you sick in the long run, because your body is not designed to live with only junk, right? God created so many amazing foods for our body. And here we are with fad diet culture, mixed up wires in our brains, where many of us won't even consume things like a banana, which is a natural food that God created. It's a fruit. It has so many benefits. It's got folate, it's got potassium, it's naturally fat-free, it's a complex carbohydrate. Yes, it has sugar in it, okay? But many people are in this position where they won't even eat that banana, but they'll go eat a whole bunch of processed junk food that is chock full of sugar, it's chock full of fat, and it's doing absolutely nothing good for your body. So that shift in focusing on health and treating your body like a temple versus the concept of like counting calories and doing something that you hate and depriving yourself and punishing yourself and all these mixed up thoughts that we have when we think about diet culture, it's such a subtle shift, but it makes such a big difference. Because think about once you've lost the weight, okay, if you make that shift in your mind and start thinking about everything that you put into your mouth from the perspective of, is this healthy for my body? Is this helping my body? Is this helping my weight loss journey? Is this decision to eat this treating my body like a temple, not a trash can? If you start to look at everything that you eat from that perspective, you're going to make some different choices. And then once you've lost the weight, you're not going to just ditch all that diet culture and go back to your old ways and gain all the weight back, because every decision is still going to continue to be about focusing on your health, about treating your body like a temple. And so we've got to ditch the diets. We've got all the fad diets that are crazy, that are about, like Ruth and I always talk about the cabbage soup diet, because we both have done that one like way too many times in the past. And you know what? That's not a healthy way to live. It's not sustainable. And sure, you're going to lose a few pounds. I always like to say diets are short-term solutions, not a long-term fix. So if we want to create lasting change in our weight loss stories, we've got to come up with those long-term solutions, and we've got to change the way that we think about what we put into our bodies. If this stuff is resonating with you, then I would like to invite you to grab our free download. It's called the Should I Eat That Guide. It's a 5-step decision-making guide for weight loss that's going to walk you through this process that we're talking about of how to create that lasting change in your weight loss story so that you only have to lose the weight once. And I'm going to just give you a little hint that it starts with surrendering the journey to God every day. If we want to create lasting change, we've got to start choosing what we're putting into our bodies and get rid of this whole concept or idea of cheating and cheat days and how we're cheating on our diet and how we're sneaking food around and hoping that nobody sees. God sees, okay? God knows. God knows your heart. And you know what? This is difficult because this concept has been so deeply ingrained into us from fad diet culture that we have these cheat days, that we have these days where we like allow ourselves to overindulge. We allow ourselves to like say yes to gluttony, really. In essence, that's what we're doing. And our culture has just made that so acceptable that we don't even think about it like that, right? We don't even recognize that that's what we're doing. But when we're saying that we're having a cheat day, like, I don't think there's any good connotation to the word cheat, right? You don't want to be the person who's cheating on your test. You don't want to be the person who's cheating on your spouse or who's cheating in a relationship or who's cheating on anything, right? That's terrible. And yet here we are cheating ourselves on our health every week. Like once a week, most people are having cheat days. Or, you know, if you're not having a cheat day, then, you know, you're saying, oh, I'm going to cheat on my diet today because this, or this. And we make all these excuses why that behavior is somehow okay, that behavior is somehow justified. And I'm not saying that by changing that thought pattern in your head that you're never going to like have a piece of cake again. That's not what I'm saying, because we believe in moderation and self-control. That doesn't mean you never have the cake. But what it means is that we're focusing on our health, we're focusing on treating our bodies like a temple. And so then when we are choosing to have something like that, something that's like an indulgence, then we're choosing that, knowing that that's what we're choosing to put into our bodies right now. And then we need to continue to focus on health, right? Then we need to continue to focus on treating our body like a temple, because one unhealthy meal doesn't make you healthy. One piece of cake doesn't make you unhealthy. One healthy meal doesn't make you healthy. It's what we do consistently over time. And so we've got to get back to like choosing what we are doing, taking full ownership, bringing everything into the light, because what we hold in the dark, what we hold in secret, what we think we're sneaking and cheating around, that's holding a lot of power over us. That's keeping us stuck in weight loss mode, that's keeping us stuck in fad diet culture that's not working, and it's stealing our confidence because we're not living in alignment with what we say we want, which is to lose the weight and get healthy. And so we have to start making decisions that line up with our goals. So you got to know how to set your weight loss goals, and then you got to start making decisions that line up with them. And that means that we do things in moderation and with self-control. And so here's my take on this, okay? If you are in a room and the food is calling you and you are like having obsessive thoughts about the food, you are struggling to be in control of the decision that you're going to make, right? And in that instance, often it's better to say no thank you, because when we don't have the self-control to stop ourselves, it's better not to start, right? If you know yourself to know that if you start, you know, with one piece of cake and then you're going to have another piece and then you're going to binge, then it's better not to start at all, okay? And so we have to learn moderation. We have to learn self-control. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. We're supposed to be practicing it. Okay, so let's put it into practice when we think about creating lasting change in our weight loss stories, because it's a fruit of the Spirit and God is calling us to it. And so, you know, I hope sometimes as we say these things, they feel heavy, right? Because we live in a culture, we live in a society where this stuff has been so normalized, it's been made so okay. I've heard it said that gluttony is the ignored sin in our culture, and I think that's so true. So nothing I'm saying here is said from a position of judgment, but I just know for myself that, you know what, I have to learn how to do things in moderation. And if I cannot control the decision to have some in moderation, then I'm better off not to start. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. My last point here is this. If your weight loss journey is solely based on the scale, it will not last. If that's all you care about is seeing a different number on the scale, then I'm here to tell you that you will not have lasting change in your weight loss journey. And so we've got to learn how to shift that focus as well. If you've been around watching for a while, you might have heard me say we have to learn how to focus on the process, not the outcome. And really what that means is that we have to start focusing on health, start focusing on treating our bodies like a temple, not a trash can, and stop focusing on the scale, right? The scale is a byproduct. The scale is a result of those good, healthy choices, like the scale moving down is a result. It's not something that we can control how fast or how slow it moves. And the Bible says that we will reap what we sow. So if we focus on the process of treating our body like a temple, the results will come. Okay, and so if your whole sole reason for being on a diet or trying to lose weight is because you want a different number on the scale, I'm here to tell you that if you don't do all this other work, when you see that number on the scale, you're still not going to be happy with yourself. You're still not going to have confidence in who God created you to be. You're still not going to love who God created you to be when you get to that number, and it's never going to be enough, and it's just going to send you back into the throes of fad diet culture and of mixed up wires in your head. And so we have to learn how to take the focus off the scale. The scale is one measurement of your progress, okay? I'm not saying don't ever weigh. I am saying that if that is the only thing that you care about on your weight loss journey, you're going to have to learn how to dig a little deeper and figure out a different reason. And you know what, honestly, in my opinion, the best reason for us as believers beyond the scale is that God is calling us to this, right? And if we want to surrender our lives, if we want to do the work that God has for us, then this is important. If we want to use the gifts that God has given us, if we want to be able to go out and serve other people, then this matters, okay? And that's nothing to do with the number on a scale, right? Because the number on the scale, when you get to the number that you want or that's a healthy weight for you, like that number is going to be different for you than it is for me, than for the next person. Like really, it's just a number. And so if that's all you're focused on, then you will not have lasting change in your weight loss story. And this is one of those things that we have to work through constantly because, and I just shared recently in another video, like I'm seeing the number that I wanted again, and I'm doing this work. As Ruth and I teach it, we are practicing this stuff ourselves, okay? And that's why we share, because we have our own firsthand experience with all of this stuff, and we practice it and we do it. And it's hard, right? And it's a continual uncrossing of those wires. And so I'm seeing that number on the scale that I wanted to get to, and I have way bigger reasons than the scale. But even still, as I've done all this other work, the devil knows how to get in my head and go like, oh, it's not enough. You're still not enough. You're never going to be enough. You're never going to look like her. What is everybody going to think about you being up here talking about weight loss when that's the number that you're still seeing on the scale, right? I have all these thoughts, just like you have all the thoughts. So if we don't do the work of learning to love who God created you to be today, then when you get to the number on the scale that you want, it still won't be enough, because the enemy is going to play tricks on you. The enemy is going to be feeding you these lies where he knows that you're weak. And it's just going to, again, catapult you back into that weight loss, vicious hamster wheel cycle that you can never get off. And then it's a never-ending weight loss journey. So if you want to create lasting change in your weight loss journey, learn how to focus on the process of treating your body like a temple. Learn how to focus on the process of getting healthy. Learn how to focus on living out the blueprint for best living, which for us as believers is the Bible, and it tells us things like moderation and self-control, right? Use that as your blueprint for your life. And if you start making changes that way, then, oh my goodness, you are going to have lasting change in your weight loss journey. And I'm here to tell you, you only have to lose the weight once, but you're going to have to continue to do the inner work, and the inner work day in and day out, because the enemy knows where we're weak and he wants to try and keep us down. And if you think about learning to be confident in who God created you to be and how that's so a part of this weight loss journey, do you think the enemy wants us to be confident and to be able to go out and use the gifts that God's given us? No, absolutely not. He is working overtime to keep us stuck so that we do not have the confidence to go out and use the gifts that God has given us. And so this is a continual surrender, a constant journey of learning how to uncross the wires and of keeping them uncrossed, because they very easily slip back into the crossed wires. So I really, truly hope that this information is going to be impactful in your life so that you can create lasting change in your weight loss story, so that it's a different story than it's been, right? Let's stop doing the same thing over and over again of fad diets where we're on this never-ending hamster wheel because it's not working. And the definition of insanity is to continue doing the same thing over and expecting different results. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here watching, and let me know in the comments below if you had an aha moment in this video and what really spoke to you, because we will respond. And again, thank you for being here. Until next time, treat your body like a temple, not a trash can.